Hey guys, welcome to the vlog. I'm having a little bit of a late start today. Mei-chan made me some breakfast, so I'm gonna eat that in a bit. But it's around about like 12:30, maybe 1. I haven't actually checked the time. Yeah, it's literally nearly 1. So I literally just woke up after my night shift. It was 8 to 8, so it was kind of a bit brutal. So I'm only running on like 4 to 5 hours of sleep. But I have heaps I need to get done today because there's a drift event with Okachan from Yashio Factory on Wednesday, which I need to make. And unfortunately, he blew up 3 of his SRs in 3 of his cars, so I can't use any of his cars anymore. So I need to get mine all drift prepped and ready, which means I need to do hiker's lockout bar, all my rear, like adjustable suspension arms and things like that, as well as coilovers again in another Skyline. I've done so many coilovers installs lately, it's driving me insane, but at least I'll get it done really quick. And then I also need to replace the alternator that failed just literally on Saturday. So today's going to be a little bit of a full-on day, but it should be good. So I hope you stick around and enjoy the video. I completely ruined my breakfast. Have you ever like gone to cut something and then when it's finally cut through, your fork flicks everything? Yeah. There's like ketchup and egg all over the place, and my toast and bacon's here. So I'm just gonna put that there and still eat it because it's bacon and eggs.
How did you get it on the wall?
Okay, so I have everything pretty much that I need for today. I got the box of coilovers, I got my battery for the GoPro for time lapses, my toolkit, and a tripod, jack stands. The jack is around the corner. The new springs with the new spring rates for the coilovers, my rattle gun and impact sockets, and all the adjustable arms and hiker's lockout bar. But before we get started, I need to just confirm 100% that it is the alternator that has failed in this, just because if it is something else, and then yeah, I have no idea what I'm going to do and if I'm going to get this ready in time for the drift event. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the car. Once the car's running, I'll then just pull the negative terminal off the battery, and if the car then shuts off, if the motor turns off, then we know 100% it's the alternator. Okay, so the car's now running, and I'm just going to take out this the negative terminal here, and the car's still running, so that's messed up. Not sure what that little black wire's for. Looks like the alternator decided to fix itself. That's really weird. Okay, so for a second there I was like, what the hell's going on? But I confirmed that the alternator is still not charging correctly with my multimeter. As you can see, it's only showing like 11 volts. There should be around 14 volts if your alternator is working at idle. So there definitely is a charging issue there. And yeah, as you can see, it's supposed to be around 14, but we're only seeing like 11.5. And a good way to know exactly what your multimeter is putting out is I'm going to take this negative terminal off again. There you go. It actually shut off that time, so the alternator was completely not charging at all. While I was just here undoing this terminal and checking that the alternator was definitely what had failed, I cleaned out this bird's nest of wires that was like spliced into one of the tail lights here. I think the guy had some like interior lighting, maybe some underglow or something like that, and that's what this was all originally for, so I just pulled all that out. It doesn't need to be there. I hate this kind of stuff. I've always hated it when buying like secondhand cars and you find people that have done dodgy wiring deals and stuff. Oh my god, my alternator has just arrived. What timing is that? Konnichiwa. Okay, so this is awesome. This arrived right on time. Perfect timing. The order of things that I'm going to do it in is alternator, then hiker's lockout bar, and then coilovers and adjustable arms. And the reason for that is if I don't have enough time to get everything done, by the time I get to say coilovers and stuff, I can still go drifting as long as I have this in and the hiker's lockout bar in. So those are the 2 main points to get done today, and it is 34 degrees right now and it is killing me. It's so hot. But anyways, yeah, so I managed to get a fully rebuilt alternator from Up Garage. They managed to have one in stock, and it was about the particular store that had it was 3 hours away from here, so I had to get them to post it, and I was really worried it wasn't going to get here today because it's a public holiday. But in Japan, courier and postal services still work on public holidays. In fact, they even deliver on weekends here. It's amazing. So thanks Japan for being awesome and getting me this part literally a day after I ordered it, and when my car broke down in the middle of the Takatamagawa with it. Anyways, so I'm going to get started and get this thing done right away, and let's set up the time lapse and go for it. Alright guys, so I've got the old alternator out now, and here's the new freshly rebuilt one. Looks like a company here in Japan called Green Parts rebuilt it, which I've never heard of, but you know, it just says down the bottom here Nissan Motor Co. and the high quality rebuilt Green Parts. So never heard of that company, but anyways, it's kind of funny. Anyways, here's the old one compared to the new one. I just wanted to show you guys the difference. I mean, obviously this is completely rebuilt, so like everything gets like soda blasted and stuff and cleaned up compared to this, but you can really see that there's an obvious difference here, and this one's been on the car probably since it rolled off the factory floor. So I mean this car's quite old now. I think it's like close to 20 years old, so I mean for this to only fail now it's totally okay. So you know, these are the types of things that you need to take into account when you're buying like a 20+ year old import, is that, you know, alternators and things like that do wear out over time and they need to be replaced. So I'm going to be putting this one in straight away. I am literally like just dripping in sweat. I don't know if you can see my face, but like it is so hot. This is so brutal. I would kill for some shade right now to work on this car, but I don't have it, and I really want to go drifting on Wednesday. So I need to get this done. Tomorrow I need to go actually to Yashio Factory and get my wheel alignment for the drift event, but I need to be there at 10 AM sharp, so I have no time to do anything else except get it all done today. So that's why I'm doing it. Anyway, so let's put you back on the time lapse and put this new one in. Alright, so the new alternator's all installed and I've got the belt tensioned. I'm going to try and give it a start now. I've reconnected the battery, put my jump pack on there, see how we go. Let the fuel pump prime. Straight away, disconnect this battery pack. These things are like, they're normally pretty good just for emergency uses, but I definitely wouldn't keep using it. They have a tendency of bursting into flames and blowing up, so you got to be careful with them. No battery light on the dash, which is good. So now I'll just double check the voltage that's being produced here at the battery, which is a little bit difficult when you've only got one hand because you're holding a camera. So hopefully I can just sit these up in here and get a reading. That's more like it, 13.6. That means the alternator's charging. So we're good. And if the if the RPMs came up a little bit, you'd probably see that jump to about 14. So there we go. Alternator's good to go now. All right, first thing on the agenda done today. I'm just gonna go inside, let this idle for a bit, and get like a drink and stuff like that, because I want some charge to go into the battery so it'll be able to start on its own power. And then I'll get started on the hiker spar and then coilovers and then adjustable suspension. Should be fun. So while I'm inside cooling down with the AC, I figured I might as well not waste that time, so I'm going to swap out these springs onto my coilovers so that they're all ready to just pretty much go straight in, and I don't need to, set up the preload or anything like that, because it does take a bit of time to put new springs on and set the preload. So I'm going to do all of that now, and then then these will be ready to go in when I start working on the rear high-kiss arms and stuff like that. Also, all these drawers and stuff are from some furniture that May's parents gave us, and we're still, we just got curtains in, and May's been working on some really cute kind of like plants and stuff like that she's working on growing. It's really hot today, right, babe? Yeah. May did all of this in the kitchen while I was gone, which is super cool. These are all like just vinyl stickers and stuff, and it looks really nice. It's kind of like May's style because she spent a lot of time growing up in Mexico, so yeah. So I wanted to just explain a little bit about coilovers to you guys, because there seems to be a lot of confusion out on the internet on how to, lower your car and change your height of your car when it comes to coilovers. So the most common thing is lots of people see these locking collars under the spring, and they think that if they lower these, the coilover can then sit much lower, which it can, but what you're actually doing is you're loosening off the preload of the spring, which then means you're going to completely change the characteristics of how the coilover is actually dealing with handling and suspension bumps and all that kind of thing, right? So you should never touch the preload of the springs, which are these two locking collars here. They always come set from factory for the best optimal setting, so don't bother ever touching them. This is the locking collar that you want to adjust for height, and this is where the whole base here will then unwind and screw down, and that's where you adjust your height, right? So if your coilovers don't have this base height adjustable part, then sell them and get a proper set. I really recommend DGR coilovers. These guys here, we sell them. We're a distributor for them. And if you just go to our website, you can order them. They're only like $12.99 for a really good street, like high performance set. So $12.99 AUD. So that's like 1,100 USD. They're really good coilover, and I've use these compared to BCs and TNs, and I always prefer DGR over those brands, and it's literally just they feel like a better quality, better bang for buck, and you can get way more adjustment out of them for what people I guess think they can get out of your TNs and stuff like that. You pay up to $2,000 for a set of Super Street TNs, and you don't even get base height adjustment in them, so that really sucks. Anyways, these are the Racing Sport Edition ones that they sell, and that means that the internal valves and stuff are catered for abuse and heavy use, as well as the main struts here are a bit thicker. So typically, normally when people use these for time attack and stuff, they have a fairly high spring rate. This is a 15 kilo spring, which is 180 millimeters long, and I'm changing to a 180 12 kilo, so 3 kilogram difference going to a softer spring, and that's what Okachan's recommended me to do. So I'm going to swap these out right now. I'm going to loosen off the spring here, and then I'm going to undo the nut at the top of the coil over here so I can get the top hat off, and then switch these springs out. So I'll set you guys up with the time lapse and get started. So I finished swapping out my springs. I got my 7 kilos on the rear and my 12s on the front, and here are my old ones here, the 15 old front ones and the 10 old rear ones. So lot softer springs, should be much more suited for drifting and stuff like that I'm intending to use the car for. So I'm going to go out and start installing these now. Do the front first because I've already got one side jacked up, and then I'll move on to the rest of the car, and once I get to the rear I'll swap out the high-kiss bar as well at the same time. Alright, so I'm halfway through the install and I got the Hikers bar out, the Nissan Hikers crap out, and just realized that this Hikers lockout bar does not suit my the thread here. It's a much smaller thread, so I assume this Hikers lockout bar is meant for a R32 or a 180SX or something like that, or an S13. But yeah, definitely not going to be able to fit that in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly hit up some up garages and see if they've got one in stock. And if they do, I'll have to jump on the train and get there, or I'll throw this Hikers crap back in and give it another go. And then yeah, so hopefully I can find a Hikers lockout bar today. If I can't, kind of a little bit screwed. So we'll see how we go. So there's no up garage close by that has the R33 or S15 or R34 Hikers lockout bar version. So what I've done is I've messaged Okachan from Yashio Factory to see whether or not he's got a got an S15 or S14 one in stock at his workshop, and if he does, we can use that one because that's the same. But right now what I'm going to have to do is put the original Hikers thing back in so I can still drive the car to him tomorrow if he has one for the wheel alignment, and we'll swap that out there as well. But what I'll do is I'll swap out the rear coilovers still, and I'll put in as many adjustable arms as I can and just try to get everything done except this Hikers lockout bar, because that's the only thing that's preventing me from going to this event now is that. So hopefully I can you know, get one through Okachan or someone else tomorrow before I go to see Okachan for the wheel alignment. But yeah, I'm a little bit I guess like down right now, because I'm kind of like, man, if I don't get this Hikers lockout bar, I can't go to this drift event. So that's gonna really suck. But I mean, you know, it was a rush and trying to get this done. So I mean, you know, that's the way things are sometimes with cars, and especially trying to get things ready for a drift event like this. So a little bit of time warping ahead here, and I had to just focus on the car and get everything done as quickly as I could towards the end there, because it was getting late. I didn't want to disturb my neighbors with like noise pollution and stuff like that. Like sometimes people in Japan are a bit iffy and call the police like really early if you're still making a lot of noise, and obviously I'm using the rattle gun, so that makes a lot of noise. Anyways, so I got everything done on the car, which was awesome. The only thing I didn't get done was that Hikers lockout bar, which was because I had the wrong type. Now, unfortunately, I did just get a message from Okachan, and he said that he doesn't have one of those S15 or R33, R34 lockout bars. So that means, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go to this drift event. Pretty bummed about that, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, it's okay, because, you know, when you're rushing to get things done like this, often you sometimes forget things, and that can be dangerous, and you can break something on the track and then be stuck there. So I'm kind of okay with it. You know, like,
I had to rush to try and get everything done, just flew back in, then, you know, bolt everything on as quickly as I could. So I'm all right with it. The only thing I'm kind of mainly bummed about is I really wanted to go drifting in Japan for the first time, hanging out with Okachan, you know, get some tutoring and some lessons from him, and just, you know, really work on my style and my technique and things like that. But it's okay, I'll be able to do that next month with him, so that's not a bit of an issue. For the rest of the night, I think me and May are just going to chill out. We're probably going to go to the store and then, you know, get some food and bake something at home. But otherwise, I think I'm going to wrap up the vlog here. It's been a hella crazy day. I'm super exhausted. That sun has exhausted me like crazy. And obviously 4 to 5 hours sleep doesn't help either. So anyways, guys, once again, thanks heaps for watching. Thanks for being a part of this family and what we're doing here with this channel. I'm super excited about the future and where we're going with this. And as always, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Ja mata ne.